Dallas Cowboys coverage. The offseason just started, we haven't even gotten to free agency yet, and already so much has happened, a lot I'm not too happy with, and I think a lot of you probably feel the same, but the Cowboys have been busy, regardless, and I did not expect this much to happen at this point, but, here we go. This is my first off-season video, so there'll be a lot more to come as we get, more news incoming, but this is the first of many, so let's get going with everything that's happened so far, starting with Amari Cooper today, has officially now been traded to the Cleveland Browns for basically a 5th round pick, so, let me know how you feel about that. Type who won the trade, Cowboys or Browns, down in the comments, and I think it's pretty obvious that the Browns got a steal here. I mean, the official trade is the Cleveland gets Amari Cooper, we get a 5th round pick, and also the two teams swap 6th round picks, so we get the slightly better of those two, but basically it's a 5th round pick. And it's just disappointing for me, just the fact that Amari Cooper's gone, obviously. I'm a big Cooper fan for sure. He really transformed this team when he came over here in that trade, and, definitely disappointing and sad to see him go for sure, but what makes me really the most upset is just how little of a return they get back for him. It sucks to lose a guy like that, but just for a 5th round pick, I mean, I was shocked. I was hearing a lot of rumors about a 3rd, 4th, and honestly, that was disappointing to me. I knew we weren't getting a 1st or anything like that, but a 2nd, 3rd maybe would have, been felt a lot better, but a 5th round pick, honestly, just doesn't feel right at all. The Cowboys got absolutely robbed here. And it just goes with the theme of this offseason so far. I'm going to get more into it. But the Cowboys, they're just trying to save money. Looks like right now they're kind of focusing on 2023's cap flexibility and really ignoring the win now mentality. We've all envied the Rams and what they've done. I think that's a little drastic. I never expected the Cowboys to go that far, and I think, for good reason. But then again, the Rams won a Super Bowl this year, didn't they? So who knows what to think right now. But the Cowboys feels like they're just kind of going into a mini rebuild phase, and really not the time for that. We see Brady retire. We're seeing a lot of, really the NFC quality of quarterbacks going down. Wilson traded to the Broncos. Carson Wentz got back in here, but that's not too much of a threat. But just, this is the Cowboys' opportunity, I think, because, it's Dak Prescott might be probably the 2nd best quarterback in this conference, only behind Aaron Rodgers, who got that monster extension with the Packers. This is the Cowboys' opportunity, I think, to make a run. If they have an opportunity to get past the wildcard divisional NFC Championship, I feel like this is the time. Brady's out of the conference, Wilson's out of the conference. The quality of quarterbacks and the teams, really, overall in the NFC are not as good as they have been in a long time. And the Cowboys, instead of, really making the most of that opportunity, it looks like they're just following suit and looking at this as a time to kind of hit the reset button, which, again, not a fan of. But let's just keep going. So Amari Cooper, that's official. Glad he wasn't cut. At least we got something, but just 5th round pick does not feel like anything compared to what I, would have been satisfied with a return. And I think a lot of you probably feel the same. So again, let me know who won the trade. Browns won the trade, if you're asking me. Continuing with the rumors, Demarcus Lawrence also kind of had this chatter. He's much more unlikely to get traded just because of how his salary is set up for a new team that would bring on that contract. I don't think anyone would do it. So for him, it's definitely a different conversation. They asked him to take a pay cut. He, of course, declined. No, he's not going to give up $5 to $10 million. It just doesn't make any sense. So that, from that standpoint, I'm now hearing that the Cowboys are most likely going to keep him. The report of him not going anywhere. Hopefully that is true. I'm not trying to make our team worse right now. It's really the main priority. I understand these contracts aren't perfect, but, there's options, whether that's a restructure or an extension. It's not just you have to cut them, you have to trade them. It's not how the salary cap works, Cowboys have a lot of flexibility that they're choosing not to, make the most of. And I think that's another just disappointing aspect of this whole situation, that the Cowboys have other options. It's not that they have to keep one of, say, Amari Cooper or Michael Gallup or Randy Gregory or Demarcus Lawrence. But it feels like they're kind of putting themselves into this situation with the salary cap that's really not necessary. There's other options. You could have restructured Cooper and saved the same amount as you just did for trading him. But that's just not the route the Cowboys chose to go. I think it comes into the fact maybe they were frustrated with Cooper, his production. I mean, beyond that, maybe his just on the field play, his availability, number of things. But the Cowboys, you can tell, just he fell out of favor and he was traded. And that's what happened. So continuing with Demarcus Lawrence, I think he will stay put. Luckily, from that standpoint, I think that's definitely positive. And then continuing now, La'el Collins is in all these trade rumors. I think he probably gets traded too. The Cowboys, you can tell, really favor Terrence Steele over him. It felt like they kind of had to play La'el at the end, but even when he came back from suspension, they seemed frustrated with him. They weren't wanting to play him. Terrence Steele stayed in the lineup. They were rotating offensive linemen. And I think him, like Cooper, has really fallen out of favor on this team. And he, a high-quality tackle in this league is worth a lot of money. Just look at the Bengals. They had him on that team. That Super Bowl might have been a little bit different. Dolphins. There's a lot of offensive line-needy teams, Jaguars, and you can tell that those teams are really teams that, struggle. Not the Bengals, but obviously the offensive line cost them a Super Bowl. And, I was saying it before, I had the Bengals to win, a little bit disappointed about that. But I said if they lose this game, it's because of their offensive line. The offensive line is very important, and the Cowboys, as much as we like to complain, they have a much better offensive line than most. So I think La'el Collins will garner some interest. I don't trust the Cowboys to get a lot in return, honestly. I think a third-round pick kind of makes sense. Maybe you could get more. But knowing the Cowboys, that they just got a fifth from Amari Cooper, it's troubling. And I can't get my hopes up, honestly, for what the Cowboys are going to get in return. Hopefully it's better second, third-round pick. What I was hoping for with Amari Cooper. Hopefully. But as of now, it looks like he is probably on the way out, and Terrence Steele will be this team's new and long-term right tackle. Okay, so, we're just scraping the tip of the iceberg. So next, let's get to the recent cuts the Cowboys made. Greg Zuerlein is out, thank goodness. It's been a long time coming. He's, I'm not trying to hate on Greg Zuerlein. He was a great kicker. He was, a valued kicker, but just the injuries takes a toll. We saw it with Dan Bailey. And unfortunately, he just is not the same guy anymore. Not good last year. Couldn't make an extra point. It was just frustrating, and it's much needed, Move on there. You save some salary cap even, so that's positive. We'll see where this team goes kicker-wise. Maybe they go Cade York in the draft. Maybe they look at the free agency kickers, Nick Folk. We'll see. But anyone other than Greg Zuerlein, I'm happy right now. Alright, Blake Jarwin, some sad news there, you probably heard about his hip injury, a rare one, NFL players not usually suffering that kind of injury, putting his Cowboys and his NFL career as a whole in doubt, just really unfortunate for him. I'm really a big fan of Blake Jarwin. Obviously Schultz has emerged now, but Blake Jarwin just feels like he never really got his opportunity with Jason Witten. The end of his career, Schultz emerging, the injuries, and unfortunately the injuries have piled up, and Blake Jarwin just has not been able to see the field. And, definitely just unfortunate from that standpoint, but, they waived him with the injury designation. I'm not sure if he plays next year. I'm not sure when he plays again. I think he will play again, one day in the NFL. Maybe that's in 2023, but for now it just makes sense, save the cap, let him rest, recover. He's most likely not going to be on a team next year. But following that, who knows, maybe he'll be brought back if he's truly healthy and ready to go again. But for now, he is waived. You save some money there. Reggie Robinson, the 4th-round pick from 2020 cut. I think, he also maybe fell out of favor just with the new defensive coaching staff. He wasn't drafted by them. And, I don't love this because he had upside, a 4th-round pick. I would have liked for him to kind of get his chance again in the preseason. If he doesn't do anything, then, you can go ahead and cut him. I think it's just a little early. I don't think that's really necessary right now. But they do it nonetheless, so, take that as you will. He really hasn't been able to see the field at all in these first 2 years. And then Edo Smith, and he was also released, again, just a practice squad running back along with Robert Foster, practice squad wide receiver. They weren't going to be on the team next year, maybe the practice squad, but they go ahead and release them now, and that's fine. They have other options at both of those positions. So that's kind of the major news in terms of transactions, but just a lot more rumors going on. I haven't even talked about the draft. That'll be in another video. But with Amari Cooper gone, possible offensive line turnover, the Cowboys, what they've done is unfortunately created more needs. They've saved some salary cap, and they'll have a lot of flexibility in 2023. But again, it's just, I don't trust the Cowboys to make moves. This is always what happens. Name the last big time free agent the Cowboys signed. I can't think of one, unfortunately. Feels like Jerron Curse, it's accidents for the Cowboys. He wasn't supposed to be as good as he was. Luckily, he was. We'll see if they bring him back. That's questionable. Brian Anger, again, it was a fluke. They didn't expect this out of him, but again, it looks like he's not going to be brought back. Unfortunately, Stephen Jones, to me, is just, he's stuck in this loop. And, for the last 25 years, the Cowboys have been stuck in this loop of just being good, but never good enough. And when they're in these situations, they're winning the division, they're in the playoffs, but they just need a little more. This team has the talent, and they have the capability to go far in the playoffs, but they need a little more. We saw it wasn't enough last year, and instead of taking this team and making it better, you've made it worse. So far this offseason, this team has gotten worse. Hopefully the draft will change that. Hopefully free agency will change that. But as of now, this team is absolutely worse than it was when we played the 49ers in the playoffs. And that is just not good, You're moving in the wrong direction, and I understand the cap flexibility. But this team, for years, has been so worried about saving money, about building long-term, about keeping their championship window open in the future, that it's closed in the present. And it keeps happening for the last 25 years. And until that changes, this team is not going to be a true competitor. And it's unfortunate and it's sad because they have had so many good teams, so much good potential, 2 very good quarterbacks, and they have nothing to show for it. And until that changes, until the aggressiveness and the, pure, I don't want to say desperation, but just the they got to wake up. This team is just too passive, too slow. They're just not, they're not making the moves they need to. I can't even think of the right word right now, but they're just not aggressive enough. And for that reason, they have not won. The Rams went all in. And again, I'm not saying they needed to do that much, but Rams won a championship in 1 year doing that. The Cowboys, in all these years, nothing to show for it. And it's unfortunate and it's sad. And until that changes, I'm not getting my hopes up, unfortunately. So, little mini rant there, but let's just continue with other rumors. Michael Gallup also the report is he's close to a contract. I think he's costing more than the Cowboys expected. The same thing with Cedric Wilson. Those two are not going to be cheap. Hopefully they use the Amari Cooper money to bring them back, though, because right now the receivers we have on the roster, Noah Brown, Simi Fehoko, and CeeDee Lamb, not the best group right now. So hopefully they can bring those guys back. Dalton Schultz, who he is back. He was franchise tagged. I'm glad they're keeping him around. Hopefully they can reach a long-term extension so he's not having to play on that franchise tag like many other Cowboys players have. Demarcus Lawrence, Dak Prescott. That's not what you want. You want a better, more favorable deal where you can push the cap space into the future. And again, that's what teams do. The smart teams, at least, they push the salary into the future. They restructure their guys. They win now. They keep the salary. I keep saying that, right? Salary cap flexibility now. You have an opportunity to win. You got to make it happen. Cowboys haven't done that so far. So continuing, Dalton Schultz, he's sticking around. Noah Brown, I said they re-signed him to a 1-year deal. No big deal. He's back. Awesome. Hopefully they can bring back more wide receivers, especially Malik Turner, Cedric Wilson, Michael Gallup. Bring some of those guys back. You need them. So it's been crazy. Randy Gregory too. They weren't going to franchise tag him. It was too expensive, but hopefully they can bring him back. I think the Cowboys, again, are hoping for that kind of hometown discount. It's not going to be that much, He's going to be expensive either way, so we'll see if they commit to bringing him back. Talked about Jaron Kershaw. I would really like him back. I'm not sure exactly what his value is right now. Again, I think it's going to be a little more than the Cowboys want to pay, but again, you got to just pay up right now. You got to keep your guys, and you got to sign other guys. Bobby Wagner was cut by the Seahawks after they're kind of looking to do a little reset after trading Russell Wilson to the Broncos. Very interesting move, by the way. We'll see how that turns out for both teams. But Bobby Wagner's out there. I would love to bring him in. Pair him with Micah Parsons. That's a dream scenario at linebacker. The connections with Dan Quinn. But do I expect the Cowboys to do it? No, absolutely not. I think there's a chance. And, I'll keep my hopes open and, fingers crossed until he signs elsewhere. But I don't expect it. I've come to not expect anything from this Cowboys team in free agency. Unfortunately, I hate to say that, but they just are not aggressive. They don't make moves. They don't bring in players. They just look to re-sign their own, which they, again, haven't even done this year so far. So, we're looking at just a really strange start to the offseason. Not ideal and not what a lot of us have been hoping for and been wanting out of this team. There's still, again, a lot more to talk about. I haven't addressed nearly everything that's been going on, but I think I hit the main points. Again, let me know how you feel about it, and more videos to come as more news comes out, more free agents are signed, and again, I know I missed some things in this video, but again, I'll be back with another one coming up very soon. Really getting this off-season coverage started again, so thanks again for your support. Again, feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And again, just let me know how you feel about these moves the Cowboys have been making. Let me know how you feel. Again, I talked about the trades, the trade rumors. Let me know who you want to bring back. And we're going to be on a ride this offseason. It's going to be a roller coaster. So buckle up, and we'll see what happens. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.